There are fighters who spend their careers developing a specific set of skills that slowly become their identity. Over years of practice, these signature techniques turn into weapons that excite fans and intimidate opponents. But every so often, a different kind of fighter appears. This type does not rely only on physical gifts, but on intelligence and adaptability. Instead of avoiding an opponent's strongest weapons, he looks for ways to exploit them, counter them, and turn them into weaknesses. A perfect example of this approach can be seen in the rivalry between Manny Pacquiao and Juan Manuel Marquez, especially in their fourth fight after 3 closely contested classics in their first meeting. Pacquiao shocked everyone by knocking Marquez down 3 times in the opening round. He achieved this by using his unique footwork and agility to create dominant angles. Pacquiao often steps to his left and places his lead foot inside his opponent's stance, allowing his jab to beat the cross and his shoulder to shield incoming shots. His athleticism lets him pivot sharply off the lead foot, generating power from an inside position. After conditioning Marquez to expect this movement, Pacquiao suddenly stepped outside to the traditional southpaw angle, shortening the distance and increasing his power. This adjustment led directly to the 3 knockdowns. What followed surprised everyone. Marquez adjusted immediately, choosing not to retreat but to stand his ground. He used precise head movement, sharp parries, and calm positioning to defend first and counter second. Instead of backing away after exchanges, he followed Pacquiao as he tried to exit on angles, sometimes even shifting stances to stay aligned. Over the rest of the fight, Marquez steadily closed the gap and erased Pacquiao's early lead, earning a dramatic draw. The next 2 fights followed a similar pattern, with both men improving and adding layers to their game. Pacquiao continued to rely on angles and explosive attacks, while Marquez focused on timing and counters. After losing both rematches on the scorecards, Marquez knew he needed a strategy that would not depend on judges. In their 4th fight, he committed to intercepting Pacquiao's attacks directly, even if it meant walking into danger. He absorbed punishment early, but his patience paid off by the final round. Both fighters had scored knockdowns, and Pacquiao appeared to be in control. As Pacquiao stepped outside to set up his rear hand, Marquez perfectly timed a sidestep into Pacquiao's path, stealing the angle and slipping the punch. He rolled just enough to avoid the jab and delivered a perfectly timed counter. As Pacquiao's momentum carried him forward, with his foot blocked and no base beneath him, Pacquiao fell into the shot. After 4 wars, Marquez finally claimed the victory he had chased for years. Though some called it luck, footage later showed Marquez training that exact counter for a long time, and he had landed similar shots even in their first fight. The lesson was clear. Giving an intelligent fighter multiple chances to study you is a dangerous gamble. Another powerful example comes from the legendary MMA fight between Mirko Cro Cop and Fedor Emelianenko. Cro Cop had destroyed the heavyweight division with devastating head kicks and crushing punches, even knocking out Fedor's brother. His kicks were so fast and powerful they often looked unreal, leaving severe damage that was only clear in slow motion. A key part of Cro Cop's success was delaying the extension of his leg, causing opponents to mistime their blocks and leaving openings high or to the body. Fedor approached the fight with layered defense, combining ducks, blocks, parries, and leg checks to cover every opening. He accepted some body damage, but consistently neutralized Cro Cop's head kicks. His high elbow guard created angles that deflected kicks upward, and at times he even caught Cro Cop's leg and threw him off balance. Once Fedor felt comfortable, he began turning Cro Cop's kicks against him. By reading the setup, he countered a head kick with a perfectly timed leg kick to Cro Cop's support leg. The impact damaged Cro Cop's ankle and removed his most feared weapon. From that point on, Cro Cop abandoned his signature kicks, and Fedor earned a clear decision victory. A brief honorable mention belongs to Marcos Maidana, who managed to counter Floyd Mayweather's famous pull counter by intercepting it with a straight punch while slipping offline. It was a rare moment of timing and creativity against one of the greatest defensive fighters ever. Another classic example of intelligence overcoming style came in the fight between Prince Naseem Hamed and Marco Antonio Barrera. Hamed was famous for his wild movement, flashy antics, and ability to bait opponents into mistakes. He intentionally presented openings, drawing overreactions and punishing them with counters. His footwork, flicking jabs, and head movement made him incredibly difficult to pin down. Barrera, however, refused to fall for any of Hamed's traps. Despite being a heavy underdog, he stayed disciplined and technically sound. He kept his punches short, stepped in with balance, and consistently beat Hamed to the punch. When Hamed lunged in, Barrera countered with tight hooks to the body. When Hamed tried to smother or escape with movement, Barrera stayed upright, tracked him calmly, and cut off the ring with smart positioning and body shots. Barrera even used clinches and subtle holds to disrupt Hamed's rhythm. By forcing a natural counterpuncher to lead, Barrera completely took control of the fight and dominated from start to finish, leading to Hamed's retirement. The larger lesson from these fights is that no style is unbeatable. Every strength has a counter, and intelligence often matters more than raw talent. Fighters like Ali, Frazier, Foreman, Lewis, and Norton all showed that adapting strategy to the opponent is what defines greatness. Even the most dominant champions were vulnerable when their patterns were understood and challenged. History provides countless reminders of this truth. Joe Louis was exposed by Max Schmeling due to a small technical flaw, only to later return and destroy him through a complete shift in mindset and aggression. Ernesto Hoost faced tremendous resistance from the unpredictable style of Mark Hunt, while Ken Norton used preparation, timing, and jab control to defeat Muhammad Ali. In each case, victory came not from superior athleticism alone, but from planning, adjustment, and understanding the opponent as an individual. In the end, intelligence remains the most dangerous weapon any fighter can possess.